Awakened Radio Network. Visit our website at www.awakenedradio.net, where you can find out all about the Awakened Radio host, take part in our forum, and chat with us in our live mobile chat room. Want to listen on the go? Go to tunein.com, download your free app, and search for Awakened Radio. We are always here for you on the Awakened Radio Network. Have you experienced the power of one? A brand new challenge for all of our hosts and listeners at the Awakened Radio Network is the power of one. One person taking one action. And through the power of agreement, that action created mightily. Find out all about the power of one at awakenedradio.net. Discover how you can help to create with other people, one person at a time. Awakened Radio is brought to you in part by the Awakened Store at awakenedradio.net. You'll find autographed copies of Dr. Main's books, guided meditations by Ragozzine and Dr. Main, Native American style dream catchers, medicine gemstone jewelry, stones, crystals, and a whole lot more. Support the Awakened Radio Network by visiting the Awakened Store today. awakenedradio.net. We understand and activate the power of one.
Welcome to Simply Conversations. I'm your host, Rob Ragozzine. The show airs every Sunday at 9 p.m. East, 8 Central. Each week we have a new conversation exploring the life of someone who's listening to the wisdom within their hearts. Join us as we open the door for these uplifting and courageous people. Their work has helped to transform their lives, and it ultimately helps to support, heal, and grow their communities. Listen to our discussion and be inspired. Feel free to take part in our chat room or on the phone. Ask questions and chat with our guests. This show is brought to you by simplyconversations.com. 2014. Tonight, my guest is Cameron Rogers Corbin. She's a nurse as well as a health and fitness coach, and she says, as a health coach, I empower you to take charge of your health and facilitate healthy, sustainable behavior changes by helping you to transform your goals into actions to help you reach your health and wellness goals no matter what. No matter where your current fitness level is, she recommends a fitness program that will suit your needs and help you reach your goals. But she adds, what you put into it is what you get out of it, and I will inspire you to give it your all. You are worth it. So with that, I invite Cameron onto the show. Hello, Cameron. How are you tonight?
I'm wonderful, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for joining us. And I seem to be echoing. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I've turned my speaker all the way down. Turn it down a few more clicks. But let's get on with it. And I like that you say that getting healthier is, you say it's a change in lifestyle, not a quick fix that will change your health and change your life. There's no magic pill.
No. No, many of us wish there was, but there really isn't. You just have to, it's the little things that you do every day that add up to the big changes. And whether they be good or bad, it's all an accumulation of the small choices that we make every day.
So it's really about transitioning.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people want to do these huge overhauls and be really gung-ho, but then you lose steam and you lose motivation, and it's hard to make those large overhauls sustainable over a long period of time. I know that I have my own personal experiences and trying to jump into something full force, and then realizing, a week or two, or maybe even a month or two down the road, that you start sliding back into your old ways because they weren't changes that were made gradually and made habits. They felt like they were just like self-imposed, and when you aren't perfect at them, then
you go back to your old ways.
Exactly. You feel like you failed, and
no, you just haven't found what's next.
Exactly.
So you're trying to build a healthier diet, don't even call it that, I guess, healthier lifestyle, and then you don't know, you lose track of what the next step is, if there is a next step.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't have to be eating dirt.
You could have been on a great path,
yeah.
But at the same time, feeling like you failed or, not doing it perfectly is a real letdown to your self-esteem, so you're not likely to continue.
So how can we be a little more gentle on ourselves? I know for myself, I like coffee still. Mm-hmm. I drink it black with no sugar. So I'm not taking in the extra sugar. I never remember drinking it with sugar anyway, but it's black for me. Mm-hmm. So other people, they go to Starbucks or whatever, McDonald's, and load it with cream and sugar, and that's not a very healthy morning drink, is it?
No, that's a lot of added extra calories and sugar that just gets your body all revved up for the day. It spikes your insulin levels, spikes your blood sugar, and then you drop down and then you feel like poo after that, and it makes you hungry. It triggers, the hunger response in your brain, and then you end up famished a lot of the day, even though you started your intentions really well.
So, Cameron, what kinds of support do we need to help ourselves make a transition?
Well, having somebody that can help you set small goals and look at what your lifestyle is and look at what changes you can start making that would fit within your lifestyle, so that you can be successful with those changes. And then once you have that success, you're more likely to continue. And then you build upon that success with another success. So it's like a weekly process. You pick one thing a week, and you may be working with that one thing, with that one goal for several weeks even. And that's okay. But you need to continue to work with it. And having, being accountable to yourself, we're much more likely to let ourselves down. We're not always having integrity to ourselves, whereas we'd be more likely to show integrity to somebody else and not let somebody else down. So having that person that you have to answer to, or tell them, how you did for the week.
Maybe have a friend that you talk to once a week.
A friend, or that's what I do as a coach, as a health and fitness coach, is I provide that accountability to my clients. However they need it.
What about buy-in from your family and friends?
That is,
because you'll be trying to make it, but they're still there with their old ways, luring you to, that bagel and sugared up coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really difficult situation. And if they're not on board with you, that can make it even more difficult.
So we need them to really at least if not support us fully, to accept that we're trying to make changes for ourselves.
Yeah, and if they can't, then you need to talk to them about that. Because people really need to be on board, and you need to have a support system, and you need to surround yourself with that support system. If you don't have that support system, it makes it a lot more difficult.
Now, Cameron, does that mean that we have to be, what is our ultimate goal? Is it to be vegetarian?
It depends on the person. My own personal choice is I am a vegetarian, and half of my family is vegetarian. I have, 4 people in my family, and half of us are, and half of us aren't. And it's all about what works for your body, and for your lifestyle. A lot of people don't feel good without having that meat in their diet. And that's okay. I mean, if they're looking to transition to more of a vegetarian vegan diet, then that's great too. But it's all about the transition. And they need to find what is right for them and really listening to their bodies. That is really the key thing, is you have to listen to your body.
I think that's an important thing, listening to what it wants to eat. Now, what I've gotten in the past is, I could eat like that from friends and family. Mm-hmm. Or like, I could eat that kind of food, almost as if it's that you're eating cardboard.
Yeah.
I could eat that. Okay, what does that mean? So, how can we be appreciative of the food, but not be knocked off course by the guilt or the shame that's coming from the people that think they're supporting us?
Oh, that's a great question, Rob. My biggest tip for that is to have fun with the food. I love food. I love to cook, and I love to play with it. Trying new recipes, converting old favorites to a healthier version, incorporating more vegetables or more fruit into the recipes, cutting out or making it more of incorporating more whole grains into the recipes, or sneaking other stuff in that are healthier, and trying to leave other stuff out like oils and that type of stuff. Making substitutions and really having it be a trial and error.
So what's it like at your house at dinner time, Cameron?
Oh, it's interesting. I try new recipes, and I have 2 young children, so that's always interesting, is having them try this stuff, and especially when it's something that they're not real familiar with, because I'm pretty adventurous, and so I try to tone it back a little bit because of them, but then sometimes I go full out, and I try it anyway, and they're usually pretty good, and my husband is still an omnivore, and that's just fine, but he's willing to try mostly everything, especially to let the kids get that we're all on board together. But, they're all very supportive of me. So what I've done is that we all get a day out of the week that we get to choose what's for dinner. And if they choose, something that's maybe not so healthy, I try to find a recipe that I can helpify it and change it or modify it or add to it, add something that's healthier to it, or serve something extra on the side. Like, I know one of my kids' family favorites is macaroni and cheese. So I've tried several different vegan versions of it. And I actually have a new idea for a new recipe, because a lot of the ones that I've tried have been a little on the sweet side. I'm using like the cashews. So I think I'm going to try one maybe with some silken tofu and see how that works out. See if they like it, because they haven't liked any of the ones that I've tried to make so far. But it's really having fun with it and trying different new versions. And I like to add like vegetables to that. Like I'll drop in peas, and like if I was going to make the mac and cheese, I'd drop in peas or chopped up spinach or something along those lines to work it into it. add nutritional value to it, add nutrient density to it. And then you could also replace the pasta with a whole grain as well. Instead of using pasta, you could use farro, which just completely changes the health quotient of the dish. So I really enjoy looking at new recipes and trying new things. I'm a member of many different Facebook groups with different recipes.
So you're willing to try it at least once and see how it works.
Absolutely. And if it doesn't work, then we look at it and see what didn't work about it and try it a different way.
And ultimately, it's about keeping everyone happy.
Absolutely.
If you have a large family for dinner, then it might be difficult at first, but you'll find the dishes that you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it has been kind of disheartening along the way. You know, dishes that I may have really liked or enjoyed, and the kids maybe not. So I'll try and make a smaller portion of that or make it with something else. I always try to make some part of the meal something that the kids and my husband will enjoy. And then maybe another part of the meal they may be new to them, or maybe something that I know that they may not enjoy as much, but it's something, you know, if that's my night to choose what's going to be for dinner, then that's what I'll do is I'll make maybe something that I'll enjoy, but maybe they won't. But I'll make something with it that they will.
Now, Cameron, a lot of us work outside of the home. Mm-hmm. So what do people do for their breakfast or their lunch?
Oh, I'm a big fan of prepping ahead for the week. I cook once and eat multiple meals out of it. A couple of great things to do with that is the whole grains like quinoa or brown rice or farro. You can make a large batch of that and then divvy it up into smaller containers, even freeze it so that you have the individual serving sizes. And then you can mix it up for breakfast. Like a new recipe that I've been wanting to try, I haven't yet, is with black rice. One of my friends had mentioned that for breakfast, cooking the black rice and having it with coconut milk and some fresh mango over top of it. And that is a fantastic healthy breakfast that you can have. It's going to fill you up. It's going to keep your blood sugar steady, and you're not going to have that mid-morning crash. And it's whole grains. It's not something that's gonna be sitting like a rock in your digestive tract, like a bagel might.
Now,
and then like beans are another one. You can buy a bag of beans and cook a big pot of beans too, and do the same type of thing with that.
A lot of people are moving into the phases of eating more raw food. Mm-hmm. Do you find any benefit to that?
Actually, I did. I've experimented a lot with that. Actually, while I was in nursing school, I did 3 weeks where I was eating about 80% raw. The only part of my meal intake that cooked was at dinner time. I would have, some sort of cooked protein and then a cooked vegetable with a large salad. And then in the morning, I was eating just fruit up until noon. And then at noon, I would then eat a salad. And, I really did feel really great. But it was difficult for me to keep up. So that's why I kind of stopped doing that. And especially in the winter.
Yeah, it's ultimately about fueling yourself. And if you have to eat 30 pounds of fruit, then it's not practical.
Exactly. And especially if you're doing like a hard workout in the morning, I mean, it's just not going to hold you. It's not going to make your body feel good. And when I think when I got off of it, it was going into winter, and I live in Connecticut, and it's very cold in the winter, and eating fruit in the morning and, raw foods during the days, it wasn't right for me and my body at that particular time. But now that it's getting warmer out, I may start transitioning back to that again. Because like I said, it did make my body feel good at the time. So it's all about playing with it, though. It's definitely something worth trying for everyone. But you never know how you're going to feel on it unless you try it. So
ultimately, it goes back to the fueling. So how do we find out what's best for our body type so that we can not only get through the day, but work out, Cameron?
I really like to ask people to try to do like an elimination type diet where it's very similar to the raw food diet that I did, where you're cutting out all processed stuff, you're cutting out all dairy, cutting out all meat, and seeing how you feel without them. And then once you've had them out of your diet for 7 days, then adding them in one by one, over the course of a 3 to 4 day period, adding them back in slowly and seeing how your body reacts to them to see if that's something that, your body is reacting to. Because when you're having it on a daily basis, you may not notice how your body is reacting to it. So taking it out and then reintroducing it within, after that just short 7 day period is a great way to take a peek and see if you're sensitive to those items.
I guess, Cameron, I was asking about working out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good tip around food sensitivities. A lot of us have Crohn's disease or gluten sensitivity. So that's good advice as far as figuring out where the problem's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about all these new gluten-free products in the store? I see shelves and shelves of them now.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard for me to look at those, and I like to really advocate more of a whole food diet where, it doesn't come in a box. It doesn't come in packaging.
Those are just snacks.
Yeah. So, if you want a snack, I'm a high advocate of reaching for something that's whole food, that resembles the plant that it came from, or animal or whatever. So those are highly processed, and the gluten-free snacks, especially because they're taking out the gluten to make it more palatable, they'll add in a lot of sugar to the gluten-free products. So I'm not a big advocate of those. If you have to be gluten-free because you're celiac, then that's one thing, and you want to have one of those things every once in a while, then hey, the rest of us sometimes eat some of that kind of stuff too. So that's fine, but trying to replace it with the gluten-free products.
Not helpful.
Yeah, I don't think it's really helpful because you're just adding in extra sugar to your diet.
So really, it's about being aware of the extra processed sugar in your diet, Cameron.
Yeah, and sugar is a really sneaky thing. It's added into a lot of the packaged products.
I was just reading where it's in 80% of all the packaged products on the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Extra sugar.
Yeah.
So I guess don't buy those.
Well, not necessarily don't buy them, but just be aware that it's there and be an informed consumer. Start reading labels. That's really what opened my eyes is reading the labels and trying to stick to making your diet at least 80% whole food. That's going to make the most healthful diet. So, but that's the aim. I mean, if you're at right now, we're only at maybe 10 or 20% whole food, then jumping to that 80% is not going to be a reasonable goal for you. It's all about the small steps. So, trying to make the swap outs and make smart, just healthier choices.
Well, Cameron, we're at about 4 minutes till break. Can you share your links with us so people can find you?
Sure. My web address is cataboliccamron.com. You can also find me on Facebook. It's Catabolic Cameron or Cameron Rogers Corbin, or both. And I'm also on Twitter as Catabolic C, I believe, and Pinterest. And I have a YouTube page as well.
Okay. So they can find you in all those places?
Yes.
Now, do you have any upcoming events will you be speaking?
I don't have any planned at the moment. Nope.
Okay.
I did have an event yesterday at my home, but nothing upcoming and planned at the moment.
Okay. Any books that you have published?
No books yet.
Are they forthcoming that we can expect?
We will see. We'll see what the future brings. I don't have any in the works at the moment, but.
Okay. Well, if you're open to it, we'll have people with questions contact us via the chat room after the break, if you like.
That would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic. Okay, well, we have 3 minutes, so I will share some of our station ID stuff just to help keep the lights on here. Now, if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show or any of the other shows here at Awakened Radio, you can provide us with a 30-second audio spot or script, and we'll play it during the broadcast 3 times. So that's a minimum of 12 plays a month that you can spread the word about your well-being or spirituality-based business. So it's a great opportunity to have your word message heard through the community. And if you'd like to contribute to our Thrive magazine, we're coming up on the deadline. It's to participate, and it's the 20th of each month, and it's an opportunity to share your work that you've created, either poetry or an article you've written or artwork. And we'll put it in the magazine and place a link back to your site and include your bio. So it's a great way to be having your work shown and to become part of the Awakened Radio Network community. And again, the deadline is the 20th of each month. And then on the 1st, or there, around there, is when the magazine comes out. It's a digital magazine, and you can download it to your computer or tablet. And again, that's Thrive Magazine, which you can find by coming to awakenradio.net and clicking on the Thrive Magazine tab. And if you're so inclined and you've enjoyed our shows, donations are always greatly appreciated. We're here at no cost to you, so please find it in your heart to click the donate button at the top of the screen here at Awakened Radio, and it's a great way to give back. If just $1, we'd appreciate it. Thanks for listening to the show. We're talking to Cameron Rogers Corbin, and we'll be back with her after the break.
For all those open showing our inside and light so bright, we are awakened, coming.
And now a word from our Awakened Radio sponsors. Do you have health and medical problems the regular medical system cannot seem to figure out how to fix? If the answer is yes, then check out lifeenergymedicine.com. That is Rife, spelled R-I-F-E, rifeenergymedicine.com, for a new way to approach many of your health problems. rifeenergymedicine.com. Check out Thrival with DonnaDevane.com. Find out all about the author, radio show host, life teacher, and coach, Donna Devane, at thrivalwithdonnadevane.com. Be sure and check out her new Kindle books at Amazon.com. Awakened Radio is also brought to you by the Awakened Store right here at awakendradio.net/Awakened Store, where you can find handcrafted jewelry, Native American dream catchers, smudge kits, medicine bags, hair feathers, books, audio guided meditations, and a whole lot more. Check us out at awakendradio.net/Awakened Store. Connect with the Awakened Radio host on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Awakened Radio. We love hearing from our listeners. Take part in our fan page and share it with your friends. Let's have fun on the Awakened Radio Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Awakened Radio.
Welcome to Simply Conversations. I'm your host, Rob Ragozzine. The show airs every Sunday at 9 p.m. East, 8 Central. Each week we have a new conversation exploring the life of someone who's listening to the wisdom within their hearts. Join us as we open the door for these uplifting and courageous people. Their work has helped to transform their lives, and it ultimately helps to support, heal, and grow their communities. Listen to our discussion and be inspired. Feel free to take part in our chat room or on the phone. Ask questions and chat with our guests. This show is brought to you by simplyconversations.com. You can add radio to Skype or call 334-649-7204. Or come to awakendradio.net and click on the live chat tab and type in your question. Now, Cameron, we're talking a lot about food, but I was reading where you said that you did personal development reading in the morning every day.
Yes.
So what kinds of subjects do you read about?
I read about moving forward, and the book that I'm reading now, it's called Failing Forward, by John Maxwell, and it's really about how we all have that mindset that if we fail at something, that we're a total failure, and it really brings us down, and we kind of wallow in it sometimes. And I know that that's been my experience, where I've been in my life, I hit a brick wall and I just kind of wallow in it. But
So have compassion.
yeah. So in this book, he explains that success is not exclusive. You have to have failure in order to have success at anything in your life. And the greatest success stories that you don't hear about all the failures that they had prior to that success. And you just can't let those failures get in your way. Can't take them personally. You just gotta learn from them and grow and move on. So it's those type of like motivational and inspiring type reading that I've been doing. The book before that I was reading was The Compound Effect. And it talked a lot about how each choice that we make, no matter how small it is, every choice compounds together and kind of snowballs. So you end up with this larger effect down the road. So it really is all about those small choices. And so, I mean, a lot of these books talk about not just personal aspects, but also business aspects. But they can really apply to anything. So I like reading them first thing in the morning because it sets your mind tone for the day. You can kind of wake up in kind of a grumpy mood, not want to get out of bed, and sleepy from, the night before or whatnot. Maybe you wanted to get a little more sleep. Or maybe there's something that's coming up that you may not be looking forward to. But once you pick up one of those books that inspires you for the day, it kind of changes your mindset.
Well, it's more about the reading. Yeah. For you, it's about the intention to get up and do something.
Yes, exactly. It sets your intention for the day. And having that intention first thing in the morning, really, it sets a snowball effect. And it really kind of sets the tone for the whole day.
We had a question in the chat room, and that's, do you avoid GMO foods?
I do personally, yeah. But again, I mean, if you're just starting out and, that's what you can afford, and, weaning it out slowly is always a great thing. But whenever possible, I do personally buy GMO-free products.
And ideally, we should be perusing the side aisles, not the center aisles.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some good stuff in the center aisles, like the spice section. We don't want to leave that section out.
I guess not. But some of those spices are irritated anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess it involves a lot of reading and paying attention to, like you said, which foods bother us. Mm-hmm. So if we notice that something bothers us, let it go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Or if it's something that you love, find a substitution for it.
Now, Cameron, since we're talking about the processed foods, how can we be more aware of the sugars that we're eating? Can we just track them in a chart, or can we just track what we eat?
It is a good idea when you're starting out to make yourself more aware of what you're eating by doing a food log. That is a great place to start, and it will make you aware simply of what you're putting in your mouth. But then you can go about tracking the amount of sugars. The only misleading part of that is that if you look at like the sugar content of fruit, for example, if you were to look it up online or on a label or whatnot, it's going to be misleading because it's a natural sugar. So that is something that you need to look out for. The best way to see if you're getting any added sugar in any of the processed foods is really to read the labels and look for, the corn syrup or cane sugar or the high fructose corn syrup or those type of things, any kind of syrups or sugars or anything that looks suspicious like that. Try and steer away from.
Steer away from it and begin to integrate the foods that are healthier for you.
Yeah.
Now, we've been talking a lot about the food, but what about external things we can do for ourselves?
Exercise is really key, not just for well-being and weight loss and for the health benefits, but it also boosts your mood and, again, shifts your mindset for the day. So that's another positive benefit to it. It's really important to get at least 30 minutes of exercise a day, or moving. It doesn't just have to be formal exercise. As long as you're getting out and you're huffing a little bit or breaking a sweat a little bit. That's fine too, whether it be, putting on the music in the kitchen and dancing while you're doing the dishes, or however you have to get that movement in, get it in.
Do you recommend some of these newfangled tracker things that you can wear on your wrist?
Yeah, you know what? That is a great place to start. And I actually did start with one of those on this most recent journey of mine. Is I got one of the Fitbit, and I clipped it onto my belt, and it really just made me aware of how much I was or wasn't moving. And so then I pay attention to those patterns, and I try to see how maybe I could get in a little bit more movement into my day. And if I knew I wasn't going to have a very moving day, then I'd say, okay, well then today we need to make sure that we get in a little extra by fitting it in here. So that is a really, really great way to track how much you're moving, because it can be deceiving.
So make it, I guess they say, make it a game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because, you want to see where your base level is and then increase it incrementally. You're not going to be going from 3,000 steps a day to 10,000 necessarily. You may have to incrementally increase it to make it a sustainable habit.
Now, what about all these reports about how standing up is more productive at work?
Oh, yes, those are interesting. Well, if you're standing up, you are engaging your muscles, so you have more blood flow. So, yeah, absolutely. If you have that availability to be able to stand up while you're working, go for it. Or at least every hour, getting up and taking a 5-minute walk. Before I made this transition, I was working at a desk. And so I was making that effort to get up every hour. And if I was getting ready to send somebody an email, I'd instead go and talk to them, just like, we've read a million times online. It really does make a big difference, every little bit that you get up and move.
So, again, not just ourselves, but our children as well. So maybe to help them see it as a game to compete against each other or just have fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
It starts there.
And planning that time with them and showing them that it's a priority and that it's important, and scheduling it in. Not just for them, but for yourself. And once you get in the habit of moving more, if you are very sedentary, that it is important to start scheduling in that movement time, and that maybe not necessarily formal exercise, but you do want to have that time of that 30 minutes scheduled into your day. Once you do get in that habit of moving more, so that you are getting that cardiovascular in, or the muscle toning and in.
And Cameron, it's all about having achievable goals, as you say, and not feeling defeated if you occasionally don't make those goals, but to work towards them.
Absolutely.
So to have the compassion for yourself, but the willingness to go on.
Yes, because we're all human and we're not perfect, and we don't expect everybody else to be perfect. We have that compassion for others, whereas we may not always have it for ourselves. So we need to remember that we're not always perfect either, and it's okay. If you have the goal of working out 4 times a week, or sticking to that raw food 80% diet that week, and you didn't, then that's okay. As long as you know that you made the best choices you could and that you were working towards that goal, then that's what you really need to be focused on, but then also look at where it did not fail, but where you could have improved and what you could have changed to be able to learn from that experience, because that is the key thing. Because just having that compassion for yourself, sometimes we have a little bit too much compassion for ourselves. We need to have that motivational drive as well to say, okay, well, this happened. That's not what I intended it for it to happen. So how can I change it? And next time, be able to reach my goal and be able to get there.
And we just had another question about, do you grow your own food, Cameron?
I do most years. This year I will not be, because I will be away most of the summer. I got an opportunity to do some camp nursing. So, yes, most years I do, and my family really do enjoy having gardens. And it's a great thing, especially with young children, to teach them and get them outside, especially, and get their hands in the dirt. It's just something really fun and special to be able to do together. If you have children, or if you don't, it's getting yourself back outside and getting in some sun and getting your hands dirty and really feeling like you've accomplished something and made something. And being able to feed yourself, I mean, that's just a great accomplishment.
Now, we don't really have a long growing season here in Connecticut.
Mm-mm.
So what would you typically grow?
I typically grow tomatoes, because we really enjoy those. Zucchini, although, zucchini in our family, the only things that we really enjoy it in, I have to say, are zucchini bread or zucchini muffins, that type of stuff. But we do grow it for that. I've grown and had very good success with cabbage, as well as Brussels sprouts and broccoli. I tried beets. I wasn't as successful with those. And lettuces are pretty simple to do. Let's see. I think we did cauliflower one year as well.
Mostly the tomatoes and the zucchini seem to work well here.
Yeah. And squash. We do enjoy squash, the regular squashes. Yellow squash.
What's your favorite garden dish to get? I guess late summer, but it doesn't really matter. What's your favorite dish out of your garden?
Tomato and cucumber salad. Just cutting them up raw and tossing them with just a little tiny bit of olive oil, but mostly vinegar, and some fresh basil. I do herbs as well. Most years I'll grow basil and some parsley and cilantro, because nothing beats fresh of all three of those herbs.
Now, you mentioned, Cameron, about the breads.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the white flowers? Should we be cutting those out?
It's best to switch over to like the white whole wheat flour. If you are going to be using the flours, I would highly recommend the unbleached white whole wheat flours instead. And then also try mixing it like half and half with like oat flour as well. And I know that there's like the amaranth flour out there too. Just some experimenting with cutting it half and half with some of the other different flours that are out there. And you can easily make your own oat flour as well. Just get the oats, the rolled oats, and just process them in like the magic bullet type thing, or a ninja chopper or something like that.
And make your own flour.
Absolutely.
That sounds interesting. Never tried that before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about other things, like along with our regular morning showering? Should we be doing things like dry brushing?
I've experimented with dry brushing, and I didn't find a huge difference in myself, but I do like the process of it, that you're spending that 5 to 10 minutes, focusing on yourself and focusing on, your body and really tuning into your body. There are a lot of documented benefits to dry brushing, and I may not have given it a fair shot. A lot of the times I'm jumping in the shower right after my workout too. So I'm like, well, I don't know how effective it's going to be either, because I'm like really sweaty at the time. But yeah, looking into doing different self-care processes like that, absolutely, I highly recommend it.
Ultimately, it's about taking care of you.
Absolutely.
So look for ways to care for yourself. It starts with the food, and then you can welcome in other things that can help you to feel better about yourself. And we had a question in the chat room. What is dry brushing?
Dry brushing is taking a natural bristled brush, like corn husks, I believe.
It's soft.
Yeah. And you do it in certain motion, like you start with your feet and you're going to be brushing up. And what it does is it moves the lymph in your body, which is like a collection. It's hooked in with your circulatory system. I'm going to get into nursing terms now. I'm going to try not to, but it's basically a filter. It's an extra filtering process, and a lot of your immune function goes on in the lymph system. So to help try to clear that out, it also moves when you move your muscles as well. But the dry brushing really helps push a lot of those the processes going in there, and helps flush it out your body to help detoxify it. And it also brushes off the dead skin cells on your body as well, because the skin is the largest organ on your body, and you do a lot of detoxifying through the skin as well. So when your pores aren't clogged, your skin can better breathe and be able to better eliminate toxins as well.
Now, Cameron, since we're doing that, should we be paying attention to our environment? Should we be bringing plants into our homes to detoxify? I was looking at something on, one of the sites talking about how they remove formaldehyde from the environment and such. So might that be helpful as well?
That is very helpful, especially if you spend a lot of time indoors. Another helpful thing is to decrease any of those chemicals that may be in your environment, is to go used. When you're thinking about buying something, buy it used, because not only are you has that product already had time to breathe and had time to release some of those toxins elsewhere, so you're not bringing those in, but you're also saving something from going into a landfill, and there's other environmental benefits to that as well. So yeah, I would highly recommend plants, buying used, thinking about some of your household products that you're using, cleaning products, anything that goes on your clothes, dish detergents, personal hygiene products, all of those, starting to look at those and seeing what the ingredients in those are as well. That has been a huge source of turnover for our family since in the past few years. And I tried to go gung-ho, but like all things I've discovered, it has to be a gradual change. Otherwise, it's not going to stick. So yeah, we've been transitioning over, and at this point, for the most part, we use mainly Castile soap, vinegar, and baking soda for almost all of our cleaning needs in our household. When there's sickness in the house, you do need to break out the bleach occasionally, but other than that, for the majority everyday cleaning needs can be done with those. So to just really being aware of the chemicals in your environment is a great idea.
So we only have about 5 minutes till the end of the show. We have so many more questions, but can you share with us a personal story about someone that surprised you in their healing quest, or something that really inspired you?
Wow, that's a great question.
It could be big or small. Just something that was inspiring.
Yeah. I have a woman that I know who I started to talk to her a little bit, and she wasn't doing any formal exercise at all. And she just within 3 months of working with her, she's already signed up to do a 5K next month. So just knowing that I was part of that was really inspiring. Really inspiring. I was able to help her on her quest to do that, and to be able to, for her to be able to schedule that goal for herself and really set it and commit herself to it. And she's doing phenomenal.
Now, what about toothpaste? Just looking at fluoride in the toothpaste or other chemicals, I see some of these ads now that I'm not even sure it is toothpaste. Mm-hmm. There's all these sparkly colors flying around. So, I don't know.
Yeah, toothpaste, our gums and our mouths are highly absorbable membranes, and we have a lot of those membranes to look at our toothpaste. So make sure that there's no extra chemicals that are in there. I do personally fluoride-free taste in our house, and I do the more natural ones without the sodium lauryl sulfate and all of that in it as well. Because once it's on your membrane for more than, I think, 27 seconds, and you're supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes, your body starts to absorb it. So yeah, it is important to be mindful of those chemicals, because that is a highly absorbable spot.
Now, do you recommend the oil pulling?
I have done that, and I actually do enjoy it. I do. I think that everybody, anybody that's interested in it should try it and see how they feel about it. It is a different sensation, and you may not see immediate results from it, but I do like the way that my mouth and my teeth feel after I do it. And I do find that, it just makes me feel better in general.
And we're only about 2 minutes left, so can you share your links with us again?
Sure. You can find me at cataboliccameron.com, and also on Facebook, Catabolic Cameron, or Cameron Rogers Corbin. I'm also on Pinterest and YouTube and Twitter.
And if someone is interested in contacting you to work with you, how might they do that? Just any one of those places?
The best place to do that would be either on Facebook, to friend me on Facebook, and send me a personal message, or to email me through my email address is cameron@cataboliccameron.com. And then there's also a contact me on the cataboliccameron.com.
Okay, so we've been talking with Cameron Rogers Corbin, and if you would like to contact her, you can find her on Facebook or her website, and talk to her about making changes in your health. Thanks for talking with us, Cameron. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob. It's been wonderful.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. And stay tuned for. We won't be on next week.
Tonight for all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened, coming.